What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world. So that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is. So they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated. So they don't ever question the emperor.
Are you not entertained?
They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it.
Wonder, powerful combination. You really think that people are going to be seduced by that?
I think he knows what Rome is. Rome is the mob. Conjure magic for them and they'll be distracted. We take away their freedom and still they'll roar. The beating heart of Rome is not the marble of the Senate, it's the sand of the Colosseum. He'll bring them death, and they will love him for it.
As the crowd continued to grow, the angry mob began to gather around the castle. The old man in the ivory tower said to his worried family, "Fear not, simply create a story to tell all the farmers that the ones who live in the town are the reasons that their freedoms were restricted. All the peasants will fight amongst themselves." His family grew concerned. The people would figure out this obvious deception. The old man smiled because he had played this game before. He knew it was easier to fool the people than to convince them that they had been fooled. This is the story of a place called Mouseland. Mouseland was a place where all the little mice lived and played. And they lived very much like you and I do. They even had a parliament, and every 4 years they had an election. They used to walk to the polls and cast their ballot. Some of them even got a ride to the polls. They got a ride for the next 4 years afterward too, just like you and me. And every time on election day, all the little mice used to go to the ballot box and they used to elect a government. A government made up of big, black, fat cats. Now, if you think it's strange that mice should elect a government made up of cats, you only just need to take a look at the history of Ireland for the last 90 odd years, and maybe you'll see that these cats weren't any stupider than we are. Now, I am not saying anything bad against the cats. They were nice fellows. They conducted the government with dignity. They passed good laws. Well, that is laws that were good for cats. But the laws that were good for cats weren't very good for mice. One of the laws said that mouse holes had to be big enough so a cat could get his paw in. Another law said that mice could only travel at certain speeds so that a cat could get his breakfast without too much physical effort. All the laws were good laws for cats, but oh, they were hard on the mice, and life was getting harder and harder. And when the mice couldn't put up with it anymore, they decided something had to be done about it. So they went en masse to the polls. So the mice voted the black cats out. They put in the white cats because the white cats had put a terrific campaign and promised them so much. They said all that Mouseland needs is more vision. They said the trouble with Mouseland is those round mouse holes we've got. If you put us in, we'll establish square mouse holes. And they did. And the square mouse holes were twice as big as the round mouse holes. And now the cat could get both his paws in, and life was even tougher than ever. And when they couldn't take that anymore, they voted the white cats out and put the black ones in again. And then they went back to the white cats, and then back to the black. They even tried hiring half black cats and half white cats, and they called that a coalition. They even got one government made up with cats with spots on them. They were also cats that tried to make a noise like a mouse, but they ate like a cat. You see, my friends, the trouble wasn't with the colour of the cats. Oh no, the trouble was that they were cats. And because they were cats, they naturally look after cats instead of the mice. Till one day, there came along one little mouse who had an idea. The cats warned all the other mice, "My friends, watch out for the little fellow with an idea," to try and silence the mouse with the idea. The brave mouse spoke loudly, "Look, fellows, why do we keep electing a government made up of cats? Why don't we elect a government made up of mice?" Oh, the fat cats, they yelled. "He's a far-right Nazi mouse." So the fat cats put him in jail. But I want to remind you that you can lock up a mouse, but you'll never destroy an idea.
We see the sheep, but I'm so much concerned about the sheeple. Those are the ones who simply follow the leader. They're almost like lemmings in a sense. They walk out to the cliffs following their leaders and jump into the sea of socialism. Oh, these people here, they support the socialist agenda, but are they socialist? No. See, communism is not a creation of the masses to overthrow the banking establishment. It's a creation of the banking establishment to overthrow and enslave the masses. The leadership of communism or communism isn't really run from Moscow, Beijing, Hanoi, or Havana. It's always been run from London, New York, and Washington, D.C. It's not a movement of the poor, it's a movement of the rich. See, what the government gives, it must first take away, and what it takes away, it must take away with force, or threat of force, or violence, or threat of violence. They pretend to be doing something for the people when they give you the Second Amendment of the Communist Manifesto. It's the 16th Amendment of the United States of America, the graduated income tax. They fleece the flock. They shear the sheep. They gather in the money. They take in all of the gold and all of the silver and all of the copper. And they leave us squat. The people don't know it. The people think they're getting something for nothing. They're going to take from the rich and give to the poor. These sheep are like so many of you who don't recognize that you're being sheared.
Even stronger than this fight! Why aren't you taking to the streets for me? Why aren't you taking to the streets for the Irish?
In the shadow of the Republic, old Plato did warn of a people too weak, and their comfort they're torn. The doctor speaks truth, but his words are too bitter. While phenofoils and fenugreek sweets hide the chains that they litter. Ireland's people vote for the sugar, the easy delight, not seeing the cost as their freedoms take flight. Politics is life, but they don't understand. They trade their free souls for a fistful of sand. Oh, the cancer of democracy, it festers unseen. An illusion of choice in a rigged machine. Left and right, they divide and they conquer, while the bankers in suits pull the strings ever stronger. One party stirs chaos, the other plays the cure. More laws, more taxes, till freedom's no more. A bipartisan game, though they scream and they shout. Two sides of a coin that's been long hollowed out. The sheep graze on crumbs, call it welfare and aid, while the powerful feast on the wealth that's been made. Regulated to death, yet we cheer for the score. Hurling and football, we're kids evermore. Oh, the cancer of democracy, it festers unseen. An illusion of choice in a rigged machine. Bread and circuses, they keep us in chains. Full bellies, numb hearts, while the hunger remains. Socrates spoke of a ship lost at sea. Who'd you trust at the helm? Any fool or the wise who can see? Yet the crowd picks the best liar, not the captain's hard truth. They sentenced all Socrates for corrupting the youth. In Athens they cheered as the hemlock was poured, for a demagogue's charm, not the reason they scorn. A vote's not a birthright, it's a skill to be learned, lest the sweet shop's false feasts leave the nation overturned.
We will not be entering into a grand coalition. The people want change. It's very clear the message we're receiving. People want change in this country. They want Fine Gael out of office. Look, the message I've received loud and clear. People want a new government. They want a change of government. And that involves Fine Gael out of government. And that is our very clear position. That is our position. Fine Gael need to come out of government. They've been there too long. They haven't delivered on the key issues such as housing, health, and the impact of costs. Cost of living on so many people. And suddenly say, oh, by the way, we'll go into government with you at the top of a hat. That doesn't, I think, resonate with people. And then high presto overnight, you know what, we'll go into government with Fianna Fáil. That doesn't make sense to the public. That's the type of Jekyll and Hyde behaviour. It's just, I don't think it has credibility.
Have you decided you are prepared to enter coalition with Fine Gael?
Yes. Again, depending on a programme for government that works and that represents a new direction in terms of public health.
A democracy is a political system in which the people periodically, by majority vote at the polls, select their rulers. The rulers then have absolute power to make whatever laws they please by majority vote among themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also, by majority vote at the polls, select rulers, who make laws by majority vote among themselves. But the rulers cannot make any laws they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. Writers of the Constitution were anxious to safeguard liberty against dictatorship, monarchy they called it. But their chief anxiety was to protect the country against democracy.
The vote's not a birthright, it's a skill to be learned, lest the sweet shop's false feasts leave the nation overturned. Cicero wept for the rights that we sold, for a circus of lights and a story retold. The evil's not bred, nor the gains that we craved, but the liberty lost for the chains that they gave. From Dublin's great games to the fields of the West, we're distracted by sport while our freedoms regress. Mao's ghost, Stalin's shadow, they whisper the cost of a state that consumes all the dreams we have lost. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin's our cry. They divide us with housing, with borders and lies. Problem, reaction, solutions their game, centralizing the power while we shoulder the blame. Communism's old failures, Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot. Millions starved, cursed and broken, their freedoms forgot. No reward for your labor, just a state's iron hand. Yet we march to their tune on this green fading land. In Ireland's fair fields, they paint left against right, but their policies merge in the dimming of light. Sinn Féin's justice call, Fine Gael's safety plea. Both choke out your choice in the name of decree. No spark for your toil, no gain for your strife. Communism's cold hand strangles Ireland's free life. From Venezuela's ruin to Pol Pot's grim lore, the communists' false promises needs freedom no more. Hail, sweet shop owner, he's running the show, handing out treats so the sheep never know. The doctor's been silenced, his warnings ignored, while the plebs cheer for crumbs and the lords keep the hoard. From Dublin to Galway, we're lost in the haze. Crimmerly passions drown out better days. We're taxed to the bone, yet we don't make a sound, while the state becomes chains on the hallowed ground. Oh, the cancer of democracy, it festers unseen, an illusion of choice in a rigged machine. Bread and circuses, they keep us in chains, full bellies, numb hearts, while the hunger remains. So rise up, dear people, see the game for its lies. The Republic's a shadow when the truth slowly dies. No more bread and circuses, no more fleeting delight. Take back what is yours, reclaim freedom's light.